Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's EGAL Talks Football. We're back again with another video. I got Yash in the building. Of course, if you guys don't know, go check out Yash Talks Footy on TikTok. And of course, you do other platforms also, right? Twitter.
Yeah, just Twitter mostly at the moment.
There you go. He's a big Liverpool fan, and we have been getting into our little back and forth on social media. So let me play a little bit of the highlights.
Finally have the strength and depth in the defense, in the midfield, and in the attack. I think we currently have the best squad in the Premier League as currently constructed. You look at this team, there's not a flaw anywhere.
Congratulations, Arsenal. You are now favourites to win the Premier League because your squad is flawless. There is nothing wrong with that team. You have the best squad in the league, so no excuses this season, right?
There's no excuses. Don't get me wrong. But you'd still say Liverpool are a better squad, wouldn't you?
In terms of starting 11, yes. In terms of the depth, I think we still need a little bit in defence in this market. So hopefully we can, if that gets sorted, then I probably think we do have the best squad. But maybe going forward, I think if you add another attacker and another defender, then it's enough.
Okay, so at this moment in time, you'd say Arsenal have the best squad.
In terms of overall squad, probably, yeah.
Okay, so you don't necessarily disagree with me. Then I understand you saying no pressure. I mean, the pressure's on you, no excuses. But I'll just be the first to tell you there is no excuses for my part. All these things about referees and injuries and everything, that was last year. We can't be saying the same thing over and over again, or else at this point it's no longer a legitimate reason. It becomes an excuse or just whining. And I'm of the mind that the manager is good enough to help us win this league. I'm of the mind that the squad was not good enough and our attack was not good enough. And I feel like we mismanaged our money over time. Calafiori, Mikel Moreno, I think you could have got better money spent on players that were more effective. Fabio Vieira, Lokonga. We've mismanaged some of our funds where I feel like I don't see Liverpool making too many mistakes in their transfer window, I guess. I look at your transfers, they all seem to be very safe, solid, good quality players coming in that are highly rated, where Arsenal, at times I question our thought process to get Madueke when we could have got Gittins or somebody else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Madueke transfer still is one of the weirdest ones of the window, I think. I don't know why, considering what was available.
Apparently his wages, and Chelsea allowed us to basically pay almost 90% of the transfer budget after the next couple of seasons, so it's amortized very favorably towards Arsenal.
Oh, okay. But I just don't know positionally. I think even if you went for someone, an up and coming prospect at left wing, like I don't know, like Malik Fofana or something, for example, he's quoted at like 40 mil euros, so it'd be cheaper than Madueke, even if the payment is like a bit different. But he actually plays on the left, which is the area where you need the most. You need the most in their attack, essentially. Because I don't know how happy you are going into the season with Martinelli, and so I think that transfer does confuse me. But we'll have to see how Arteta's trying to use him, because I don't know if in pre-season, I haven't watched too much from Arsenal, whether he's been playing on the left or the right when he has played.
All right, let's watch the rest of the video because I do think you said some things that I want to touch on.
Nothing to do with the referees anymore. We can't talk about having no striker, having all these injuries because
Arsenal.
So yeah, I agree with you up until that point.
Having all these injuries because
it stopped. So yeah, so no complaining about strikers, no complaining about referees. Is there anything else that you want to say before we move on to another topic? Because I feel like you didn't really address my point,
which was
I feel like we have a really good squad. You do agree with me. It's just because it's Liverpool versus Arsenal. I would have thought you would have said Liverpool still have a better squad, but you generally do agree with me. You just disagree with the fact that Arsenal, until we prove it, we can't come out here and start talking like that. That's what you're saying, right?
I think, yeah, it's just, I think the squad thing is more about the depth of your squad. I think you can fill positions. If you lose out on players, you can fill them with better players. But the 11 players that are starting the pitch I don't necessarily think are all better than Liverpool's 11, which would be playing the majority of the season. Touch wood if no injuries happen. So I think in that scenario is when Arsenal's squad is better. But in terms of 11v11, I will take our squad 100%. Obviously, I think your defense is better. I think the midfield you can kind of toss up, but then the attack just blows it out of the water, in my opinion, Liverpool's. And I think that's this season. If we add Isak on top as well, then I just don't see. Like, I know everyone on Twitter is pointing out the defensive issues, the lack of centre backs, but I think our attack is going to be that good. We're just going to outscore so many teams, and like we've done in past years under Klopp. Like, I've seen Klopp's strength was never his defense, and we always used to win games by scoring, but we still didn't concede that much, and that only didn't win us the league because we played against one of the best City teams ever. If that exact same team played in a lot of other years, we would have easily won the league, and we wouldn't have to win every single match, which is how I think it's going to be this season. I think the Premier League is going to be very difficult. You're not going to be seeing crazy high points tallies. You just need to essentially just about beat the rest of them, and you don't have to be perfect, which is what we used to have to be. So defensively, we might have some issues, which I still think we do, but I have no doubt that the attacking power on our side, especially with Isak, will win us the league.
I will say this though. Liverpool still have a lot to do this window. Go get Isak, go get a defender, go get more cover across your team. Now your window's not remotely close to being over. You're making some big sales in the next coming weeks, be it Darwin Núñez and Harvey Elliott. So you're gonna have money. I don't have any doubt in my mind Liverpool are gonna go get more defensive and midfield and attacking cover if need be. What I'm saying is Arsenal are going to be a little bit ahead of the curve. We already have a lot of these players in the door. You already have majority of these guys already know how to play with each other. We're really only instilling 2 players into the starting 11 in Gyökeres and Zubimendi at this point, where you are going to be at least implementing 4, maybe 5 max. Could that cause some disruption? Because there was the video of the guy who said, I'm not scared of Liverpool next season. They might not be as good as you think they will be because they have to gel. Now, I get 2 of my Arsenal players have to gel into the team, but 2 versus 4 is a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, it could be 3 if you decide to play Madueke. And I don't know how good the Eze rumours are and whether Rodrigo is even possible at this point because of his wages and all this stuff. Yeah. But if that happens as well, which you guys are saying you need Eze right now, like I think I agree as well. I think you need some central creativity and stuff on the left. So that's more players you might have to add into the squad. But I think this whole adapting to like and that is like seen as a bigger thing than it actually needs to be, especially with the caliber of players we've signed. Like Florian Wirtz, for me, he's someone I think would just do well anywhere he goes. Okay, sure, it might not justify the 116 mil price tag in his first season, which is obviously the expectations that's going to have for him. But in terms of him fitting in our squad, I've already seen enough. I know you could say preseason, I don't care about results, but I can still see how players are playing in the squad, how comfortable they look with the teammates. And with him, he looks so comfortable in this team already, and everything's going through him. And I think I don't really see his attributes not working well in the Premier League. Maybe obviously the numbers might be the only reason he could get some criticism, but Ekatike is probably the only one I could see like he needs probably a bit more time because he's a little bit more of a project than like a Wirtz. And obviously Kirk's Premier League proven left back, and I don't think that's a position where it's really going to be that difficult for him considering he's just done it all last season.
And you still have Robertson, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the other side, I don't think Frimpong's going to be the starter. I think it's going to be Conor Bradley. So I don't think it's too many changes. And if it is Isak we bring in, is there any question around whether he'll do well at Liverpool? No, not really.
But let's talk about Isak. Forget about Isak. You guys are linked to Wesa right now. What's going on with that?
I have not seen this myself.
In the case that you don't get Isak, you guys could go for Brentford's Wesa. And also, reports are that Alexander Isak is furious after being told that Newcastle won't sell him this transfer window.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know, because if Fabrizio did say that they offered him another contract, and he said,
Newcastle
no.
reported this at, sorry to cut you off, 11 o'clock, basically saying that Newcastle have put an end to the possibility of Alexander Isak's transfer to Liverpool and informed that he won't be sold this summer. The player is furious. Now, this doesn't mean guaranteed they're telling the truth. This could be PR to help them buy more time to sign a player, or it could actually be what they're saying is the truth.
So let's say the worst case scenario, we don't sign Isak. I think there are some decent links with other players. We've had some earlier in the window. We had links to Fofana. We have seen some newer links with Barcola. I know that's going to be a very difficult thing to pull off, but I think the club do still have a short list of backup attackers if Isak isn't there. Potentially someone who can kind of play across the front three, similar to how Chiesa was, even though obviously he didn't really play much, but that kind of mold of player. So I think there will be contingencies there if Isak isn't sold. I don't see why Newcastle aren't selling him, because he doesn't want to be there. They offered him another contract last week. He said no again. He's clearly doesn't want to train with the team. Like, why would they want that in their club regardless? Or if it's because they need to sign a striker. And that Vissa thing, I don't even know about that. But if it's depth up front, I'm not going to be too annoyed if it's...
Yeah, RIP Jota every single time, but you do need some more depth in that attack.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we've
lost a lot.
And a lot of these unfortunate events where some of these guys just haven't been good enough. And obviously the unfortunate event with Jota has led to Liverpool needing a lot more depth in attack. Now,
yeah, I think Rio and Gamoa, though, is going to be a big part of that, because we've seen he's now fully in the first team. And so he's going to be on the bench, making some cameos from cup games as well, help with Gakpo on that side. So maybe we don't actually go for a left wing.
I've seen with last year with Ethan and Mazu Skelly, young players can come in and make a big difference at a young age very quickly, but also some of them need to be physically managed. And Ethan played 37 games last season. That was too much for him.
Okay.
Even though he got double-digit goals across all competitions, he played well, but still, you need to manage their minutes.
Yeah, I think that will happen with Rio. I think Slot is, well, I don't think he's the greatest at managing minutes, but I think he will do that more on that left side.
Definitely not. Mo Salah and Van Dijk had to play every minute.
Nah, them two are anomalies, but Gravenberch had to play a lot as well last season. But
so
I think
did McAllister.
Yeah, so I think that will be hopefully improved this season. We've got a lot more. I think midfield depth is good because we've got Nioni coming through as well.
You know what? I feel like we always speak about the negatives on why teams are going to lose, but it's good to have a stream where we're actually just speaking more about the positives. And I do think Liverpool is still one of the best attacks in Europe. I still believe you guys are still going to be a really solid team. Can you win the league or the Champions League? I think you're the favorites to win the league, and I think you're one of the favorites to win the Champions League. Arsenal, we have to do it before people believe in us. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Our attack is frustrating to watch, but at times very effective, because don't forget, we still finish with some of the highest goal tallies in the league consistently year in, year out, even though we're not a beautiful watch. I think the aesthetically pleasing Arsenal of 2022-2023 was extremely flawed defensively. The Arsenal of last year was extremely flawed offensively. We need to find
that, to be fair.
We need to find a good balance. There was a flaw. The flaw was we were heavily focused on one side of the pitch, and the left side was basically neglected.
Oh, is this last season, or you mean 22-23?
Last season.
Oh, yeah. No, I think 22-23, you guys, similarly to how we've had that was the one year where I was like, this Arsenal team is one of the best I've seen, and you guys should be winning the league, but you came against the treble winners. So like that was like similarly with how we did with the City in like 21-22 and stuff. So that was just a bit of a freakish thing. But then I think that season kind of has a bit of trauma on Arteta, and recently he just went so defensively focused. My main thing with you guys is, firstly, I don't know how you have so much confidence into every season. I don't think it's not a bad thing, but obviously you back your team. But I feel like
There
if
was
I was
no
in that
confidence
scenario,
going into 2022,
no,
2023.
I mean this season.
Even when
After
we were
3
top of the
years.
league by 10 points, there was still skepticism then.
No,
And
I meant this season going into now.
because we've signed a striker. We've asked for Gyökeres for a long time. We've asked for a striker for a long time. Sesko or Gyökeres, really, everyone was saying. Now, funny enough, Sesko has gone to Man United. Let's see how he does. Gyökeres, I think, is the right fit for us, age-wise, mentality-wise. And a lot of people scream about mentality being an issue at Arsenal, right? When you have a striker coming in who his main focus is, I want to get as many goals as possible. I'm the kind of guy, I want a hat trick before I get a game winner. I would rather have a hat trick than just one goal, and that's the kind of mentality he has. We've missed that. Even Aubameyang at his best was not really as goal hungry as Gyökeres seems. Gyökeres seems like old school. I want to score goals. I don't care how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take 4 chances at swiping at the net. I don't have to be tippy tappy trying to dance past players. It's just effective. People criticize Mo Salah for being effective. Sometimes you just need effective players who get the job done. They don't have to dance and do everything that they do sometimes to get goals.
My issue with that is you guys have had issues obviously with not having a striker, but then do you not think you've had a lot of creativity issues, especially through the middle of the pitch? Because you mentioned about your right side is where all of it's coming from, and that I agree with that. Saka's having a lot of the burden of creativity, and he's sitting
We
on the
create
touchline.
chances. We miss at a high rate.
Okay.
So we miss.
So you think it's a finishing issue that you had before?
We have a finishing problem. Kai Havertz, bro. Declan Rice. He's not really a scorer. You have Mikel Moreno as our best finisher last season, by far, by a country mile. Saka's our second best finisher. Martinelli completely forgot how to finish his dinner. Do you know how many 1v1 chances Martinelli gets per season that he just shoots straight at the keeper? Because everybody knows Martinelli's move. Far corner every time. It's kind of like Darwin Núñez. In the final third, it takes too long for him to think of what he's going to do before he finishes and tries to finish. If he just had a picture in his mind of what to do in every scenario, then he maybe would have a better idea. But he's not cerebral enough for a basketball term. But yeah, he's not.
So if I want to, okay, I'll clear this up. So you think that just because now you've got the striker that you need, that is,
and we're going to sign one more attacking player like Eze or Rodrigo.
Okay, so there's factoring in that as well. Okay, so if that wasn't the case and it's just exactly the 11 you have now, do you think that is like exactly enough that you need to win this league?
Sesko's going to have to do a big carry job. I mean, Gyökeres is going to have to do a big carry job. That's a howler. Gyökeres is going to have to do a big carry job. Bun Sesko. I never wanted Sesko to begin with. I wanted Gyökeres because he's experienced. He scored at a high level. I think the difference between Arsenal last year and this year, Zubimendi is going to make a big difference attacking wise. Also, Partey, as much as everyone talks about him as a very good player, slightly overrated in my opinion. But people say I have an agenda. I think I'm going to have to bring you on to actually talk about Liverpool another time. We kind of spoke a little bit about both Arsenal and Liverpool. I thought you were going to be a little bit more like, I don't know. I thought you're going to have more to debate against me, but it seems like we have a lot to agree with. It's just
I just don't agree with the blind confidence going into the season because of
I have confidence in my squad. I have confidence in my manager. I have confidence in my defense. I believe my midfield is solid. I believe my creativity. I think Declan Rice, Odegaard, Mikel Moreno, Saka is enough creativity right now. If you add one more and Eze sets me over the top to be very happy. I feel like we have enough depth in each position to get us where we need to get to. My team already knows how to win consistently. They just don't know how to get over the goddamn line due to injuries and other issues. And hopefully this squad can negate any major injury issues or major defensive lapses because we have enough quality across the squad where we can make up for diminishing areas during games.
Okay, let me ask you one thing then. Why do you think, more instead of saying why you think Arsenal win the league, why do you think Liverpool won't win the league?
2 reasons. One, squad depth.
Okay.
I think you lack the squad depth. And number 2, I think too much change over year to year.
But I don't think last season we had much squad depth either.
I know, but last season was an anomaly. You had 7 players play pretty much every game.
I think that's pretty common though, no? Isn't that what you're
You had
hoping?
Robertson, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Salah, and Cody Gakpo pretty much play majority of the games until the final part of the season.
Tsimikas played quite a bit, to be fair, but yeah. No, the main spine will most likely play a lot of the games, and I think that's.
Let me give you an
That's gonna
example.
be the same
Arsenal only
thing.
had 2 players who played more than 36 games.
Mhm.
Arsenal
No,
had 2.
but I think that's more because Arsenal had the injury issues, not that. Like, I don't think that will happen again. I think you'll have more than that this season, and I think you'll have similar to what we had last season. Like, you're not going to want to change your squad for the sake of it. You're just going to hope nobody has crazy injury issues. I think it's more for your other competitions where you didn't have enough to rotate. And I think we've got enough for Carabao FA Cup to play a lot of new players.
You know something? I really couldn't care less about those because my main thing is if we don't win the league or the Champions League, I feel like the season's a failure, even if we were to win an FA Cup or a League Cup.
Do you think it's time for Arteta to go then?
If we don't win the FA Cup or League Cup, yeah. If we win the FA Cup or League Cup, or we don't win anything, we should consider getting a manager who can get us to win league titles.
Okay. I'm just not convinced enough by your improvements on last season. I know you have a striker and I understand, but I feel like it's the moments where it's the mid-table teams where you need someone to just grab something by the scruff of the neck. Well, that isn't Saka. I know you had that long period where Saka was obviously injured for, and so when teams were like earlier in the season, he was doing so well. But let's just say Saka has a run of bad form, or like he's getting double, triple teamed every game. For me, haven't signed anyone in attack that has that X factor that I think, they're going to change this game themselves.
Gyökeres?
I don't think so, in my opinion. I think he's going to be someone that you need to give a lot of service to. I don't think he's going to be able to create something for himself or a spark out of nothing, in my opinion.
From what I've seen at Sporting and what he did against Arsenal, he's the kind of guy you can give him the ball over the top and he'll run onto it and score a goal himself. Easy. You can give you can give him the ball with his back to goal with one person. If he can spin that player, he's through. It's done.
But do you play like that? That's my biggest concern with Gyökeres. I just don't think
Arteta did say that he's going to be shifting to a little bit more direct system now that we have Gyökeres and Madueke.
Yeah, because like that. This is why I thought Sesko for me was the better option out of the two. For you guys, I don't think Sesko's a better player. I think Gyökeres is a better striker. But I think to suit how you played last season, it would have to change a lot in the way you attack. So do you not think
what we need?
But do you not think that needs adaptation?
We need change. We need a little bit more of a quicker game. We need faster pace. We need more of Saka playing more central, closer to the striker. Martinelli playing more central, closer to the striker. I feel like you can take Declan Rice and Zubimendi and have them a little deeper instead of having 4 people on top of the striker like we did last year. Last year, in case you didn't know, it was basically Partey by himself at the halfway line with the defenders, and Declan Rice, Odegaard, the 2 wingers, be it Saka and Martinelli and Kai Havertz, all in and around the box. Nobody in the middle.
No, I get that. Yeah, that's what my biggest concern was. But have you seen anything in preseason that's given you the hint that they're being a bit more direct? Because obviously I haven't really.
Yeah, I seen them place Kai Havertz in a couple times, Martinelli in a couple times.
Okay.
But the main thing is I have not seen the best midfield with the best attack yet. Today is the game where we should finally see close enough to a starting 11.
Because you guys have got
at 5 o'clock, keep an eye on it. 5 o'clock we play Bilbao.
Okay. And we played Bilbao as well. They are not great defensively. So hopefully you can see a bit more of your attacking side of the play.
If we don't, we'll be concerned then.
I think that's the biggest. They are not great, and I think you guys need to try something before it's too late and the season starts, and you're experimenting how to attack with Gyökeres. and you got your Man United at the start. You got us in the third game. I know at the start it's like
We pretty much used preseason just to adapt new players in. We didn't really use it to study and practice what we're going to do with the 11. Maybe they're going to keep a lot of that behind closed doors. Because today, we pretty much know what we're going to be expecting from United now.
But do you want to experiment your more direct style against Man United in the first game, where there's a lot of pressure on that match, big game?
We tried it versus Newcastle and Tottenham, and it worked against Newcastle. It didn't really work versus Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
Although we had a chance, we went long ball early in the game. Midway through the game, we tried to play balls over the top from a central area. Then we tried doing crosses from wide later in the game, and I'll be honest, they weren't really effective when Tottenham already scored and they're playing in a low block. So we needed to find a new way.
This is my thing, right? Because I think going into that against different scenarios, I think the main thing Liverpool we've strengthened in this window now is last season when teams were pinned back a bit more, we weren't as good. We were quite transition heavy. And I know Slot doesn't necessarily like doing that the most. He likes having the ball a lot, but he kind of adapted to what we had last season. And we started playing long in a lot of big games, especially like PSG, Man City. We started like having a bit of a mid block and trying to counter attack a lot more. But I think this season, the players we have signed, especially in attack with Wirtz, I think he's so good in small spaces and trying to break down creativity through the middle because we lost it at right back. I think it's a bit more traditional now. So I think in more game scenarios, we are more suited. So like we can play the counter-attacking football. We can play against the low blocks. I think Ekatike is really good for that as well. Good with his feet, good moving in the box.
Obviously, no way. As well. This is terrible. The lineup might be another bench. Kepa, Mosquera, Gabriel, Odegaard, Timber, Zinchenko, Madueke, Moreno, Zubamendi, Rice, Dauman. How is that possible? Dauman was supposed to be on vacation.
Nah, is this for the game today?
Yeah, this can't be the lineup. Surely that can't be the lineup.
If it is, then I have a bit of worry towards where Arteta's going to try these new tactics of the first 11, because we've got obviously the Community Shield tomorrow. I think that'll be. I mean, we did play our first starting 11 against Bilbao, so I don't know whether McAllister or Szoboszlai is playing out of them two. But I think I'm really happy with what I've seen pre-season. Okay, we haven't had the best results, but I don't care, again, about results. I think the attack is so fluid. We're seeing some good cameos from youngsters. So I just don't see it like really falling apart. Like this could really backfire, but I really just don't see it falling apart and just only going up from here. I just think Wirtz is going to get more.
Maybe Arteta just seen all those injuries and he's like, I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, that is true. I just worry about Arteta's like mentality going into the season. I think he's more too afraid to not lose rather than trying to win. And hopefully Gyökeres can change that. But
hey, you know something? You guys didn't do well in preseason last year. You won the league, so it doesn't really mean much, does it?
That's what I mean. Yeah, preseason doesn't mean anything. And
We're gonna wrap it up here. Big up. Have a great day, guys. Check out my boy Yash on TikTok and of course on Twitter. And do you do YouTube?
No, soon though. Soon.
Coming in 2025. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, guys. Peace.